This is not a joke. The title's not clickbait. The bulk of my digital assets were stolen from my cold storage wallet. I'm finally at a good place in my life to actually talk about what happened. So in this video, we're gonna talk about how I think it all happened, the grief process, what I did to try to recover them, and what I'm gonna do moving forward. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode, family. Afro Senpai here. Let's get into it because the drama is real. So in mid-August, I want to say, I needed to check the balance of my Bitcoin account. So I hopped on to the iCoin app and saw that everything was at pretty much zero. There was like 0.002 ETH left. And I'm like, nah, there must be some sync error. My Wi-Fi is messed up. I don't know. So I exited the app and I got back on and it still showed the same thing. And then my heart started to race. And I was like, this can't be true. I don't know how it's true. I don't know why I'm looking at what I'm looking at, but this cannot be my account. So after freaking out, I checked the transaction history, and sure enough, a couple days before that day, my account had been drained. So I immediately emailed iCoin Technology to tell them that my account had been hacked or that my assets had been stolen. And I told them I didn't share my seed phrase with anybody. I don't go around telling people about this device. They basically told me that based off of the information I've given them, what I'm saying is impossible. And I'm like, yeah, that's great, but we still need to figure this out because my assets are gone. And then I went onto Reddit because they have a Bitcoin subreddit, but I was just trying to figure out what can I do at this point. And if you're ever in this situation, do not go on Reddit, especially the Bitcoin subreddit, to ask for help. For every one person that was helpful, there were 10 people who are telling me how stupid I was, how it's my fault that I was going with a company that nobody's heard of, all this trash that didn't help me feel better about myself, number one, or get me the solutions that I was seeking. And then I start to remember that video I made for you guys about how I set up my hardware wallet. Do you guys remember this one? So then I started thinking, well, what if somebody saw that video, hacked my computer, saw like the source file of the video, and so they would be able to see the seed phrase without the black bar in front of it? Or maybe somebody has technology where they can remove things from videos, so they could remove the black bar. And I was thinking how stupid I am. I'm trying to show you guys how to set something up. I could have taken 2 seconds to not even show that this paper was being printed that had my actual seed phrase on it. And there's another spot that iCoin pointed out to me in that video where you could actually see part of the QR code. I tried to take a snapshot of the QR code to see if it would generate my seed phrase, and it didn't, but maybe somebody has a better QR code that was able to. I don't know, but at this point, it started seeping in that my digital assets were gone, and then I started going through the different stages of grief. So for those of you who don't know, there are 5 stages of grief. Some people say 7. I'm gonna go with 5 because that's what I found on the internet. And the 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So for the first stage of denial, I was like, how could this have happened to me? Why me? Why is it always the bad things that are happening to me? Blah, 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 blah. For anger, I was upset that somebody would want to steal from me. Like, what did I ever do to people, you know? For bargaining, I was thinking like, if only I didn't show part of the seed phrase, if only I printed my seed phrase away from the camera completely, all of this could have been avoided. For depression, I didn't even want to look at the price of Bitcoin for a whole week. One of my goals for 2023 is to learn something about Bitcoin every day. I didn't want to do that for a full week. I was just completely done with Bitcoin. And I was thinking, what am I going to tell people? People who say to me, Bitcoin is a scam, you're gonna lose your money, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, buy Bitcoin, bro. I tell family members, buy Bitcoin. I tell people who are close to me, who I love, buy Bitcoin. I'm telling these people this, and then this happens to me. It's a tough pill to swallow. And so that news really kicked my butt. Also, with the depression, I was thinking to myself, man, I took out loans to get Bitcoin. I was buying in when it was 64,000. All these bad thoughts resurfaced in that depression stage. And then the final stage, a couple days after I took that week off from digital assets, we got to the final stage. So I went through the grief process fairly quickly. Gratefully, I'm grateful for that. Acceptance was the best part because it all goes back to mindset. I have the mindset that I'm going to reach my goal no matter what. So I challenge myself. For the acceptance piece, I said, look, you chose to be on this journey. If you are going to become a millionaire, if you are going to become a wealth builder, there are going to be days when you're beat down, thrown to the floor, have your head underwater, and it's not gonna feel great. You can't pick and choose days. You can't say, I only wanna become a wealth builder if there's only blue skies. That's not how it works. So I said to myself, yeah, this sucks, but let's go out and get another one. What's happened in the past is in the past. I can't change it. But what's beautiful about Bitcoin and the blockchain is everything is recorded. So it's kind of the stupidest thing to do in the world to try to steal Bitcoin from somebody because it's all recorded on the blockchain. So when you go to cash out somewhere, somebody knows that it's you because everything is trackable. So I feel like in the future, this is going to be a very simple process or a very simple service where I contact somebody and say, hey, this amount of Bitcoin was taken from me on this day. Can you help track it down? And they'll contact the appropriate people and it will return to me one day. That's number one. Number two, let's say in the off chance I will never get that Bitcoin and ETH back again. The sub part of my wealth building journey is to give back. I have tiers for every X amount of money that I get in my milestones. I also give an X amount back. $25,000 is one of my giveaway milestones. So if I'm looking at it from a growth mindset, I've already given away $25,000 of my give back goal. Now let's talk about what I did to recover the funds. Hey guys, before we get back to how I tried to recover my assets, if you want to help my family and I recover some of our digital assets, please consider dropping some sats for Bitcoin to our Coinbase public address. Only give what you feel comfortable giving. I just thought I'd put this out there because I know there are generous people out in the world. My family and I are gonna be okay, so if you don't wanna give, that's okay too. Just consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. I love you. So for the recovery process, I went to Meme Pool, and this process actually made me feel a lot better. I was able to pinpoint on the blockchain when my funds were taken, by what public address it was taken. So I can see that this particular address took the funds and sent it to their own wallet, and then they distributed my funds out in various different locations. So from there, I took screenshots of all the activity that they were doing with my funds, and I created an online police report for my local police department. Then I contacted all the major exchanges, Coinbase, KuCoin, Gemini, Kraken, all of those companies, and say, hey, this address just stole assets from my wallet. Please keep an eye out in the future because they are trading with or using funds that are not theirs. Almost all exchanges contacted me again within 24 hours saying, we're sorry for what happened to you. We cannot give you personal information, but if the police contact the company themselves, then of course they can give out more private information. So that made me feel a lot better because it felt like the companies really do care. And if you're watching and you know something that I should be doing to try to recover my assets, please drop it in the comments below. I will be reading everything, and I'm so appreciative of any information that you have. So moving forward, this process has completely humbled me. I felt really good about being a whole coiner. I've said in other videos, one day millionaires and billionaires won't be able to afford one whole Bitcoin because of how Bitcoin is programmed, and that made me feel good. It made me feel good that I could have something that Jeff Bezos could not. And so having it taken from me it really put me in my place. So I will no longer be talking about when I'm buying and how much I'm buying. Just know that I'm buying. But even though this has happened to me, I still believe in Bitcoin. I'm still buying Bitcoin. I still think Bitcoin is the future. I still think institutions and nation states are going to buy into Bitcoin eventually. It's just a matter of when. If you are serious about building your wealth, you have to have Bitcoin in your portfolio. You don't have to have 25%, you don't have to have 10. Just have some small allocation of Bitcoin, have digital assets in your portfolio if you want to be a well-rounded wealth builder. So moving forward, once I get a nice chunk of Bitcoin again, I will split it into 4 different hardware wallets. I will also leave some on Coinbase because at this point, the only reason I was taking it off exchanges is because I didn't want an FTX or a BlockFi to happen to my funds where I can't access them, because we all know not your keys, not your coins. But I feel at this point, Coinbase has survived multiple reckonings. I feel long-term Coinbase is the golden goose for the industry. It's gonna be the industry standard. So to recap everything, folks, don't share your seed phrase with people, especially hundreds of people on the internet. I love you all. Take care of yourself, take care of your wealth, take care of your assets. And until the next one, remember to smile because you are beautiful. Peace. What's up, fam? Thanks again for watching. If you're still here, you're a real one. And I'd like to offer you a choice. Continue floating through life or make plans to start really living. Pick the video on the right to help your money reach new heights, or pick the video on the left to make your mindset the best. And remember, all I'm offering you is the truth.